I want to talk about a mistake I see very often in businesses, in households, in ambitious women who are absolutely brilliant at what they do. The mistake is this: thinking that doing more yourself means getting better results. And sometimes it does, but usually we need more. It actually does the opposite in many times. And I know this not because I read it in a book, but because I actually lived it. And it cost me a lot. So here's a question I want you to sit with for a second. What is your time actually worth? And I mean, really, if you broke down your day, the hours you spent doing things that someone else could do, scheduling, admin, chores, tasks that are fine but not yours, what is that costing you? And of course, I don't mean money, in energy, in focus, in the things you don't get to do because you were busy doing everything else. Most high-performing people never do this calculation. They just keep growing, keep adding, keep absorbing more because they can, because they're capable, because saying I'll handle it has always worked before, until it doesn't anymore. For most of my working life, I worked alone. No employees, no team, just me. And in that environment, doing everything yourself isn't a choice, it's just the reality. You build, you adapt, you figure it out, and over time you get very, very good at it. You become someone who can handle absolutely everything. But it comes with a catch and a price. It wires the belief so deep you don't even notice it anymore. If you want it done right, you do it yourself. And I carried that belief far beyond the years when I was actually working alone, into everything else, into my home, into every area of my life where I could have, should have, brought other people in. I didn't. Because somewhere along the way, doing it all had become part of who I was, not just what I did. That is where the performance cost begins. Right there. Because the moment you identify is wrapped up in being the person who handles everything, you stop making rational decisions about what you should actually be spending your time on. You stop asking, is this the best use of me? You just do it because that's what you've been doing. And what suffers is the work that only you can do. The strategic thinking, the creative vision, the relationships that move your business forward, the decisions that require your full presence and your best mind. Those things get leftovers. The depleted, end of the day, run through the wall version of you, because the beginning of the day got eaten by things you could have handed off to someone else. That's not a productivity problem. That is a delegation problem. And there's another cost that gets talked about even less, the quality. When you do everything alone, you're working with one brain, one perspective, one set of experiences and blind spots. And for certain things that are deeply personal, deeply creative, deeply yours, that's exactly right. That's what makes your work distinctively you. But for everything else, one brace is a limitation. The moment you bring the right people in, something shifts. You get angles you hadn't considered, solutions you wouldn't have found. Someone challenges an assumption you didn't even know you were making. And suddenly, the output isn't just completed. It's better, sharper, more complete. So there is a reason best companies in the world are not built by one person doing everything. There is a reason that most successful people you admire have teams, collaborators, people they trust with specific pieces of what they're building. It's not because they couldn't do it themselves, because I'm sure you know you can. It's because they understand that could and should are very different questions. But here's where it gets complicated for a lot of us. And this is the part I really want you to listen to. The reason we don't delegate is not usually about capability. It's not even really about trust, although we tell ourselves that. Nobody will do it as well as I will. Nobody understands it like I do. But the real reason, if we're being honest, it's about vulnerability. Delegating means admitting you can't do everything. It means showing your vulnerable sides. It means showing someone else that there are limits. It means trusting another person with something you care about and accepting that you cannot fully control the outcome. And if you're spent years, maybe your whole adult life, being the strong one, the capable one, the one who holds it all together, that feels generally threatening and scary. Not logically, but in the body, in the gut. I know, I built this image of myself, the woman who can manage anything, business, family, home, create everything from scratch, all of it at the highest level ever at the same time. And I protected that image fiercely, even when it was exhausting me, even when I was running on empty, because I didn't want anyone to see that I was struggling. I didn't want to give anyone a reason to think I was less than what they thought I was. So I hit the wall, the famous wall, even twice. And both times I told myself it was circumstances. It was just too much happening at once. It was external. But the truth was, I had no buffer. I had no support structure, no one to ask for help, because I'd never built one. I'd never dared going it all for so long that there was no one positioned to catch me, no who even knew they were needed, because I'd never shown anyone that I might needed catching. That's the real cause of never delegating. It's not just the hours. It's not just the diminished output. It's that when you build a life where everything runs through you and only through you, there is no resilience. There is no redundancy. You are the single point of failure. And when you fail, and eventually everyone does, you fail alone. So let me reframe it. Delegation completely. Delegation is not a sign that you can't handle things. It's a sign that you understand how to build something that lasts. It's the difference between a business that exists because of you and a business that thrives with you. Between a home that functions because you're holding it together and a family that actually operate as a team. Between a life that looks impressive from the outside and a life that actually feels sustainable from the inside. The most effective leaders, the ones who build things that outlast them, that scale, that have real impact, are not the ones doing the most. They're the ones who are most precise about what only they should be doing and what they should trust with everything else. That is a skill. And like any skill, it has to be practiced. It feels uncomfortable at first. Of course, you will hand something off and want to take it back. You will watch someone do something differently than you would have done it and have to resist the urge to step in. Do it anyway. Because on the other side of the discomfort is leverage. And leverage is what turns hard work into actual results. What is one thing on your plate right now that you is not the best use of your time, your energy, or your specific genius? And who could you hand it to? Just one thing. Not because you're weak, not because you can't handle it, but because you're too valuable to spend your best hours on work that someone else could do just as well, maybe even better. Protect your highest level. Delegate everything below it. That's not giving up control. That's taking it. I'm here every week, new topics that will make you change yourself into the best version possible and to all your capacity and your unique being.